Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating concept based on Florence Scovel Shinn's classic work, The Game of Life and How to Play It. Most of us wander through our days thinking life is just this crazy, random series of events like a chaotic lottery where we just have to cross our fingers and hope for the best. But what if that's completely backwards? What if life is actually a game with definitive mechanics, specific rules, and a required strategy? If you learn those mechanics, you don't just participate, you actually win.
Okay, let's dive into this, because you need to ask yourself a really critical question. Are you actively shaping your reality? Or are you just sort of reacting to whatever gets thrown your way? Most people are caught in this constant, exhausting state of reaction. But to truly succeed, we have to completely flip the script. Here is our ultimate rule book for today. We'll be looking at cause versus effect, the rules of the game, the three minds, the concept of as within, so without, and finally, trusting intuitive action.
Section 1. Cause versus effect. This is all about shaping your reality.
Before we can even step onto the playing board, we need a massive foundational mindset shift. This is the core dichotomy of how humans operate. Most people live at the effect of life. They look around, see what the majority is doing, a psychological principle known as social proof, and they just mimic it. And when something goes wrong, they blame external circumstances, the economy, the weather, and frustrate themselves by fighting things they literally can't control. On the flip side, highly successful individuals act as the cause. They focus purely on what they can actually control, orchestrating their lives with clear intention and building massive internal power.
The universe is remarkably pragmatic. It's the ultimate boomerang metaphor. Whatever deeds, words, or energy you send out is exactly what you're going to get back. It's a simple, unbending metaphysical mechanism. Put out value and love, and you get it right back. But if you project negativity, complain constantly, or operate out of fear, that is exactly what will crash back into your reality.
Let's look at Section 2, Rules of the Game.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how you actually manipulate those variables. You have to master three core rules of play: fearless faith, non-resistance, and love. Adhering to these foundational rules every single day naturally removes you from situations where failure is even probable, and it aligns you directly with success. Let's break down exactly why this happens.
So let me ask you directly, what are you resisting right now? Think about your day. Think about that one thing you absolutely know you need to do today, or maybe this week, but you're just avoiding it. You're procrastinating out of fear. Human nature can be incredibly stubborn about holding on to that fear, and that hesitation keeps you trapped. Overcoming it requires bold, fearless faith. Florence Scovel Shinn often talked about how people need to prepare for the thing they are asking for, kind of like buying an umbrella when you're praying for rain. You've got to act in faith before the result actually arrives.
And that brings us perfectly to the rule of non-resistance. Think about how often we try to force things to happen or fight against a reality we simply cannot change. All that does is create unnecessary, exhausting internal friction. Water doesn't fight the rock. It flows right around it, and eventually its persistent, non-resistant nature reshapes the stone completely. Accepting reality for what it is allows you to flow past obstacles without draining your vital energy.
Section 3. The three minds. Let's talk about your internal equipment.
To play the game effectively, you really need to understand how your brain's three operational departments talk to each other. First, we have the conscious mind. Think of this as the programmer. It's your logical, analytical mind, but more importantly, it acts as the gatekeeper. It makes the educated decisions about exactly what information, media, and stimuli are allowed to enter your system. You've got to actively guard that gate.
So, the crucial point is how this affects your subconscious mind. This is the reactive engine of your life. It has immense, undeniable power, but absolutely zero direction of its own. It blindly and automatically carries out whatever programming the conscious mind feeds it. If you consciously obsess over fear and lack, your subconscious is going to automatically drive behaviors that result in failure. But if you feed it clear goals and positive inputs, it automatically drives you towards success, making you what we call unconsciously competent.
Finally, the third department is the superconscious mind, sometimes called infinite intelligence. This is the realm of perfect ideas, deep intuition, and those sudden hunches you just can't quite logically explain. Top entrepreneurs, legendary artists, elite athletes, they all tap into this. It's the ultimate source of your unique destiny and what Shinn vividly calls your perfect self-expression.
Section 4. As within, so without.
This concept brings the mind and the rules together to reveal a really profound metaphysical law. Your external world is nothing more than a direct reflection of your internal state. Whenever you find yourself intensely frustrated by someone else's faults, maybe a coworker or a business partner, life is actually holding up a mirror to your own internal issues. They're revealing a resistance or an impurity that you hold within yourself. When you change the cause within, the external world just begins to change automatically.
Let's move to Section 5, Trusting Intuitive Action, and see how this all builds into practice.
Having the perfect mindset is completely useless if you don't know how to physically act on these principles. And this brilliantly illustrates the decision-making loop you absolutely must adopt. Step 1, you receive an intuitive nudge from that superconscious mind. Step 2, your current paradigm fights back, creating an intense wall of fear, the terror barrier. Step 3, you take the fearful action anyway. Step 4, you get feedback from the external world and optimize. Shin relates this incredible anecdote of a woman who desperately needed money to travel. Instead of panicking, she packed her trunks as if the trip was already totally funded. She hit the wall of fear, packed anyway, and the money miraculously materialized. That is the loop in action.
To keep that loop moving quickly, you have to master the art of making rapid decisions. Most people get horribly stuck in analysis paralysis. To win the game, you evaluate the available data, you lean heavily on your faith muscle, and you radically accept that making mistakes is just a mandatory part of the process. Every fast decision you make trains your mind to become more resilient and highly intuitive.
Which brings us right back to the ultimate rule we mentioned earlier: love. This perfectly encapsulates the winning strategy, especially in areas like business and entrepreneurship. Real love is selfless. When you focus on creating immense value for others, falling in love with serving your clients or your community without demanding an immediate, calculated return, you unlock the absolute highest levels of success. The pure joy of giving generates a massive boomerang effect of abundance.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. If your external world is a perfect mirror, what is your life reflecting back to you right now? Take a hard, honest look at your circumstances, your finances, your relationships. They are telling you exactly what your internal programming looks like today. If you want a totally different reflection, you now know the specific mechanics to rewrite the code. Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.